All right. Strange Days came out in 1967. 10 tracks, 35 minutes. Beloved album. 84 user score on Album of the Year with 2,500 ratings. People enjoy this album a good bit. Who do I follow this rating? Only Slowy. Give it an 85. Start the recording. See, I fucked with my settings so that I'm using the good camera on Streamlabs right now, so I can't record because I would have to use the dogshit camera on OBS. So unfortunately, if we want to turn this into a video, we're going to have to use stream footage. That's right. Stream footage. Yeah. Already said all of the stuff I need to say. 1967, 10 tracks, 35 minutes. Yeah, this was their second album following the release of their self-titled classic. I'm going into this one completely blind. I don't think I've heard anything off of this album. Let's go. I'm excited. Track 1, Strange Days. And to accompany me throughout this album journey, I've got Monster Munch, roast beef. I don't know why the green screen isn't picking this up. It's yellow, not green, but... I forget. I always forget just how ahead of its time this early Doors stuff sounds. This is kind of crazy for 1967, dude. This sounds like... I don't know, it's just so surreal. The way some of these, like, very early electronic elements are being implemented to give this track kind of a futuristic kind of feel is so damn impressive. The production here as well has aged beautifully. It's kind of crazy that this sounds as good as it does for when it came out. You gave him 30. That's GG's. Fantastic opener. Yeah. Incredible incorporation of like early electro, yeah, like early Moog synth. Sounds fucking incredible. Gives the song a retro futuristic spin that I think sounds absolutely fucking beautiful. This production has aged gorgeously. I will say the one thing that maybe hasn't aged the best is a lot of these elements do feel a little soft. Like the drums don't have quite as much attack as I feel like they kind of need, especially in some of the heavier moments of this track. But besides that, I think this song on the whole has aged absolutely beautifully. It's a great way to kick off this album. Sounds very strange indeed with, again, kind of the retro-futuristic aesthetic that it's going for. I adored this. Give this a flat 9. Fantastic way to start. Absolutely incredible. I also love the kind of gated vocal effect that they have here. Gives the song kind of an uneasy... I don't want to necessarily say like full-on dystopian, but it gives it like that feeling of something being amiss, and I really appreciate that. Your Lost Little Girl up next. After 5 seconds of silence, of course.
You're lost, little girl.
It's the one thing with Monster Munch, they get proper stuck in your teeth. I see.
Think that you know what to do. Impossible, yes, what to do.
Oh, absolutely. That's fucking beautiful.
Girl, sure that you know.
This guitar work as well is lovely. Kind of carrying over some of the more surrealist elements of the previous this track. Thankfully, we don't have that Beatles panning in the mix. Yeah. Yeah, this is carrying over some of like the surrealistic qualities of the previous track. I feel like that may be the overarching thing about this album, is that it kind of is going for a lot of surrealism. Because the way that these keys play off of the guitars, just how dead and flat the vocal performance is here, and I say that in a good way. None of this feels, I don't know, it feels like it has the uncanny valley effect. There's a tangibility to this, but something slightly off, and it makes for such an uneasy listen that is fascinating and makes me want to dig deeper into what it is specifically that is creating this feeling of, I don't know, something unreal being hidden underneath the noise of this track. Incredible guitar parts throughout this song. The keys as well sound fucking fantastic too. I feel like this track also loses the minor production issues I had with the previous song. The drums feel a little bit punchier here. Everything kind of feels like it has a little bit more attack, a little bit more weight. And it kind of loses the semi-dated sound of the previous track. This one has aged even better than the last one in terms of production, in my opinion. This is a high 9. Starting off with 2 fucking heaters on this album, man. Aged better than self-titled production-wise. Self-titled feels very 70s production-wise to me. It kind of feels like it has like dimly lit darkness that a lot of 70s albums have. This feels a little more timeless to me. Love Me 2 Times up next. After, of course, 5 seconds of silence. Every song needs 5 seconds of silence at the end. This album, their self-titled proto-prog. I could see that being being a descriptor for their self-titled. Sure, I don't know about this so far though. Sounds about the dark underbelly of the summer of love. Okay. I love those dynamics, man. The way it, like, just when you feel like there's going to be a big crash, it all just slightly pulls out instead. Excellent use of dynamics. Do not speak. Love me one time. Yeah, my knees got weak. Love me 2 times, girl. Guitar dworking it with those trills. Jesus Christ. Love me 2 times. I've gone away. Love me 2 times. I've gone away. Oh, yeah. Oh. What the hell is that? Doesn't quite sound like an acoustic guitar. It's not an electric guitar. What is that? Harpsichord? No, it sounds like it's actually being strummed. I don't think it's a harpsichord. No, that can't be a harpsichord. It's something that's being strummed. Clavichord? I don't know. Like, it does really sound like a harpsichord there, but then it goes into more like strummed parts. That was the first song Jim Morrison ever wrote. As with other songs in Straight Days, the album's Dynamite. Let me pause that. Oh, it is a harpsichord. Weird. Because it sounds strummed. Strange. Very strange. How do you get that sound out of a harpsichord? Do you have to, like, hit the keys in a specific way so that they're, like, slightly out of time with each other to make it sound strummed? That's fascinating. That's really weird. Sounds cool, though. Honestly, it had me genuinely questioning what the fuck I was hearing. Quite a distorted love track emotionally from Morrison's performance here. Commanding, but quite dark. Absolutely. Just like how people are strange. Very true. Very true. I'd even go as far as to say The Days Are Strange as well, as per the album title. I fucking adored this song. Yeah, this is like one of those tracks that constantly has me second guessing what's going on, not just with the instrumentation, but with the structure of the track as well and the directions it goes down. I like a lot of these big, heavier kind of stabs. I love the dynamic range on this track. Just when you think it's going to come in with a big crash, the song pulls out a little bit, gets a little bit quieter instead. Just those nice little moments of subversion of expectation that keep this that had this track keeping you on your toes all the way throughout. Again, Jim Morrison going a little bit harder on the vocals here was really cool. The writing on this track as well, being the most forward out of all of the songs so far, the most easy to follow along with, was quite nice. Honestly, I give this one a 10. Genuinely, this is genuinely the strongest of the bunch so far. I think this album has been like worked best so far, like with the lyrics being a little bit difficult to interpret. Love Me 2 Times was a little more easy to follow along with. But I liked that the first songs were a little more, like, interpretive and that I didn't fully understand what was going on. That was, like, a nice thing to follow along with, if that makes sense. I can't speak today, man. Like, at all. Jesus. Unhappy Girl up next. 1 minute and 59. Wow. Fascinating production. This reverse shit is kind of crazy. Whimsical indeed, but also kind of terrifying at the same time. Those guitars have such a vocal quality, man. With that bend there, it sounds like someone going, woo! It literally feels like an active conversation happening between the guitars on the right and the keys on the left. That's so cool. Year is this? 1967. Man. For a minute and 59 track, well, minute and 54, excluding the 5 seconds of silence that every song needs at the end. This was crazy. A 1967 song that's under 2 minutes, that's able to have this much packed into such a small runtime, such experimental instrumentation, working with incredible interplay that sounds like an active conversation between the different instruments, the cool reverse shit going on throughout this track as well. Such a great, again, very deadpan vocal performance as well that gives the song that kind of surrealist quality. This album's blowing my fucking mind so far. This has been... It's felt like very different to the Doors' last album. It's been a lot more colorful and a lot more in your face. The first Doors album, I remember being pretty dark and more spacey, kind of reminded me a little bit of like some early to mid 70s kind of sounds. This has just been forward, trippy, colorful as hell. Kind of feeling like it's the band trying to distance themselves from the first album a little bit. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. 9.3. I mean, the only thing that could get that song a higher score would be it being longer, honestly. I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more of that track. I wish we got to hear more of the great interplay, more of the great reverse effects, more of the incredible deadpan vocal performance. Horse Latitudes, this one's a minute and a half. 2 incredibly short songs, and then I just saw down here that the album ends with a fucking 11-minute track. Bear in mind, this is a 35-minute album, and there's an 11-minute song on it. The worst Doors song after the best one? We'll see about that.
When the still sea conspires in armor, and her sullen and aborted currents breed tiny monsters, true sailing is dead.
Yeah, Michael Gira took heavy inspiration from the Doors. You're almost a third of the album length.
Awkward instant, and the first animal is jettisoned. Refined and sealed over.
This is Jim showing his poet side. Honestly, this doesn't read as an interlude to me. This actually feels like an imperative part of the album. I don't see that as an interlude. That feels like an actual important piece of the puzzle. And as a piece of the puzzle, it's a flat 7. I like that we get to see Jim Morrison kind of getting a little bit more aggressive vocally, doing a spoken word thing, but more so like a fucking shouted word thing. As it sounds like this, I don't know, slave owner or something like that, just going mad with power, you know, fucking whipping people and shit. The sound of like them like on a boat or something. It's like, it creates a pretty vivid scene that doesn't need to be on this album. That track could have been entirely left off of this thing, and I feel like it would be no harm, no foul. That's the reason it doesn't get as high a score, is that it feels like such an important piece of the puzzle, like important enough to matter as an album track, but also like it could have been left off entirely. It feels like they had an intent for that to be like an important moment of the album and not an interlude, but it feels like it didn't need to be here at the same time. It's weird. I don't know. Still a flat 7. I thought that song was interesting and an enjoyable piece of the puzzle. I don't even know why I'm calling it a song. I don't even know if it qualifies as a song. A strange piece that I definitely wouldn't say is an interlude. Moonlight Drive. Strange, I could say. Indubitably.
Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tides. Swim out tonight, love. It's our time to try.
You don't think you've seen things that are stranger than this?
The ocean on our Moonlight Drive.
I mean, things are quite strange here. I know, this album makes me feel like the whole world's been flipped upside down, you know what I'm saying? All of the guitar solos have been really interesting across this album. And they've been so strange. The guitar tone specifically has been really weird. It's the first ever song Jim Morrison wrote and is considered to be the reason for the creation of the Doors. I see. I have to say, for a first song, this is quite impressive. Shit kind of slaps, honestly. I feel like it's a far cry from the strongest on the album, but I don't know, it's instrumentally solid as hell. Got all of the stuff that's interested me about the album so far, like the weird guitar effects. I think that the lyrics are decently strong as well. I like that, again, we get a little bit more of a pronounced and exaggerated Jim Morrison vocal performance. Feeling a solid 8 on this track. Yeah, the song's fun. It's not the strongest on the album up to this point, but it goes hard. It's incredibly well written and structured. Yeah, considering this is the first song Jim Morrison wrote, it's the lyrics are strong as hell. I think the song, in terms of like all of the like elements of songwriting, like the song structure, the actual individual parts all sound fucking fantastic. Yeah, it's not quite as strong as the incredible experiments going on the first 4 tracks, but yeah, the song still went hard as hell. People Are Strange up next, that's true. Strange days, strange people, strange things in general.
Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked.
I feel like I've heard this. This melody is really familiar.
Even when you're down, when you're strange. Faces come out of the rain. When you're strange. No one remembers your name. People are strange. When you're a stranger, faces look ugly. When you're alone, women seem wicked. When you're
One of those most famous songs, the cover of it was in Lost Boys. I probably heard this then. man. Again, very strange guitar solos, weird tones. The actual playing, the notes that are being hit are just so weird. But they're so satisfying at the same time.
Faces come out of the rain.
The guitarist was taught flamenco style, huh? Yo, I wouldn't associate flamenco with the Doors at all. This piano is nice. Everything here, man. That lead melody gives the song a bit of an inherent eeriness, but all of the other elements are so... I don't know, they're just so pleasant. God, that song was so fun. Almost certain I've heard this before, and I have to say this track is absolutely delightful. It's a low 9 for me. Just a stunning song that has such a off-kilter, eerie lead melody. This absolutely does need to be on the intro playlist. Yeah, such an off-kilter, eerie lead melody, but also such a sense of wonder and such a nice, inviting warmth to the instrumental. Again, super strange guitar solo on here, as with every song that's had a guitar solo so far, but with how pleasant that piano throughout the song is, with how like specifically assured and calm Jim Morrison's vocal inflection is throughout this track, with how delightful and soft the drum sound as well. Everything on this song feels like it's lulling you into a false sense of security and is then turning itself around and with the lead melody and revealing something darker and more sinister. The song does such a great job at that. And it also is apparently a very catchy melody, because I have heard this song before and I could remember it, and I couldn't tell you when I've heard this. It must have been a long time, because I know I haven't heard it recently, because I'd remember more of the song if I had. Yeah, shit was fucking fantastic. My Eyes Have Seen You, up next. Oh my god! This track just breaks out into a full fucking sprint. That was the coolest fucking shit ever. I've talked about how good the dynamics on this album are, but man, again, I love when a song does that, when it efficiently subverts your expectations, dynamically speaking. You expect a big crash and then it pulls out. That was like the best example of that ever. It goes from this massive build into this gallop, and then everything drops out. Fucking stunning. So good. Like, this shit's so peak, man. And then it goes right back into the build. Wow. Yeah, those eighth notes on the kick kind of leading the charge on this rhythm. So good. Probably the best vocal performance on the whole album as well. Jim Morrison is just going all in vocally here. And the way they fade into the background. And that piano part on the right channel as well. On the left channel, sorry. W fade out. I was even fine with the fade out here. I genuinely would give that song a 10. I think that's a strong contender for like best on the album. It is neck and neck with the third song. This track was absolutely incredible. Some of the best displays of why like dynamic playing really matters. To be able to pull off, Jesus fuck, I can't talk today. To be able to pull off a song that's as hectic and manic as this, that has this insane build that drops out and then goes right back into that build, right back into that intensity. And again, yes, the interplay between the instruments, the way they interact with each other, the guitar playing off of that piano, these eighth note kick hits kind of leading the charge on this insane rhythmic build. Everything just kind of comes together in a way that feels so perfect. It feels like the tightest jazz band playing a rock song, where everything is entirely dependent on a sense of dynamics and interplay, in the same way a lot of the best jazz music is, that's kind of a little more hectic and a little kind of has a little bit more of like that big band feeling, but it's being put into the context of a rock song. It's like the best shit ever, genuinely. I cannot believe how perfect all of the details of that song were. I can't believe how every single second felt like it complemented the last so well. And again, that dropout towards the middle of the song after the first big build, genuinely one of the most breathtaking moments of the entire album. Yeah, that shit was absolute peak. Probably my favorite, but Love Me Two Times is decent contender. I Can't See Your Face in My Mind up next.
Can't see your face in my mind.
Black Sabbath were like that, but for metal? Absolutely, yeah. Oh! Is that marimba? I was not expecting to get marimba on this album. I think that's a marimba at least. Reversed hi-hats. It's either reversed hi-hats or a reverse shaker. Oh, paired with that organ, it gives it kind of like a spooky feeling. And this marimba feels a little like, I don't know, kind of skeletal. What is this? Hang on. The feud between Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison was born out of perhaps one of the wildest music history stories ever heard, as the two got together for a jam session turned fist fight. In a club in New York in 1968, Morrison, Hendrix, and Janis Joplin found themselves in the same room at one of the scene's infamous jam sessions. You might think the result of it would be an epic piece of music or a fascinating conversation, but no. Instead, the result was violent carnage as Joplin smashed a bottle over Morrison's head for being abusive and borderline SAing Hendrix on stage. Fucking hell. Jimmy was very different from Morrison, an audience member remembered of the night. Had a lovely vibe about him. He was very shy and reserved. He was the same soft-spoken guy when he talked to women. Morrison was very abrupt and said whatever he wanted to say. Even before the fight broke out, Hendrix wasn't impressed by the Doors leader, as he attempted to sing into the microphone, instead sounding more like a dying animal, the guitarist retorted. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the sound of Jim Morrison. Wow. Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison having a fucking row on stage. That's crazy.
Can't seem to find the right line.
I imagine the beef started by trying to see who's the most popular Jim of the time. Exactly.
Insanity's horse.
He was a notorious alcoholic, had a lot of issues, yeah. The drums are playing a really interesting tom part here. I wish that was highlighted a little bit more. Is I'm sleeping in the bushes a lot? Yikes, that's rough. Yeah, there was a really interesting tom part there. I wish the drums were brought up a little bit in the mix to highlight it. I'm not saying that. I'm not embarrassing myself on camera like that. I Can't See Your Face in My Mind. One of the most effectively trippy songs on the album. Feeling a solid 9 on this one. Yeah, this track is just, again, kind of carries over some of that surrealist quality of the first half of the album. The introduction of something like a marimba here gives the song a nice, like, skeletal quality. This track, across the board, whether it's that organ in the left channel, the very strange tom beat that's being played throughout this, even just how dry that ride cymbal sounds, everything here kind of feels like it's trying to be as spooky as possible, and it gets it across incredibly effectively. I think that this track genuinely at points is able to feel quite haunting. I think that the like minor instrumental switches, like the part that the marimba plays, or the great use of dynamics on this track as well. It's just all coming together to create an overall feeling of eeriness and unease, and this song does it so fucking incredibly. This whole album has absolutely slapped. This whole album has been peak. We have an 11-minute song incoming. If this song is good, this could go above the First Doors album. Okay, coming in strong. Holy shit. Talking about Jimi Hendrix, that guitar resonance kind of reminded me of something you'd hear on a Jimi Hendrix track. This or the end? We'll see. I mean, the end is like one of the best album closers of all time, so it's going to be tough competition.
When the music's over, turn up the lights, turn up the lights, turn up the lights. Yeah.
The way the organ and the guitar are matching each other here is so fucking satisfying. Like how thick the bass is as well. The bass is getting much like more of like a stronger presence on this track than it has on most of the others.
When the music's over, when the music's over, turn up the lights, turn up the lights, turn up the lights. Put the music in your special friend. Dance on fires, it intends.
End of the night, it sounds like that.
Your only
I know that by who?
until the end,
Wow.
until the end.
Again, the way it all just like pulls out so seamlessly, man. It's shit has so much aura.
Cancel my subscription to the resurrection.
I like how sloppy the song is so far. Like
The face in
the
mirror won't
rhythmic
stop.
imperfections, the
Girl in the window
the
won't
keys
stop.
and the guitars not fully lining up, the bass line kind of having like,
Alive she cried.
I don't know. I guess sloppiness is the only word that can that's really coming to mind for this, and I think it's entirely a good thing. It makes the song feel so raw, like everything is happening in the moment, literally right in front of you. Adds like a sense of tension between the instruments that it's felt like a lot of these songs have been quite conversational between the different instruments. This one feels like there's more of a tension between them.
Into the big sleep.
Like that. Those toms sound so good. The resonance,
I want you
just how much attack and impact there is. It's just like such a perfect tom sound.
of the butterfly.
Especially like matched with how dry that cross stick snare sounds. Even the ride cymbal as well. Jim did his vocals in one single take. Damn. It's a hell of a vocal performance.
Come back. We want the world and we want it. We want the world and we want it. Now.
Wow. Instead of this prog, I actually don't know. I wouldn't say prog necessarily. It just feels like an extended, like, psych rock track. Proto-prog, sure. I wouldn't say this goes into full-on prog territory, though. Yeah, it feels more like a prog-length psychedelic rock track. Crazy vocal performance. Music isn't over. Exactly. Oh my god, this is genuinely like the best vocal performance on any Doors song I've heard. Crazy fucking screaming. Done in one take, yeah. Wild.
Music's over. Turn out the lights. Turn out the lights. Turn out the lights. What the music is your special friend. Dance on fires in intense. Easy is your only friend. Till the end. Until the end. Until the end.
I was kind of cooking with that temp before, I can't lie. That is, yeah. This versus the end is, that's a tough matchup. That is genuinely a tough matchup. This does give the end a run for its money indeed. Such an immense and just brutally impactful song. What, like the craziest vocal performance you could ask for from Jim Morrison here. The best writing you could ask for on the entire album. Such an insane progression this track goes through. Also, the best pacing ever. This doesn't feel like 11 minutes in the slightest. Live version of this song could last up to 17 minutes. God, that'd be so fucking peak. 17-minute version of this, dude. Literally, this song fucking flies by. Every section is just so gripping and entrancing. Everything is so tense throughout this entire track. The 11 minutes absolutely fly by as you just get so lost in all the details. You don't even realize that the entire fucking song's over by the time it's over. This is a wild, crazy, batshit insane ride of a track. The best on the album. It closes on its strongest moment, absolutely. An insane 11-minute statement to end this shit off. Absolutely fantastic. Some of the best interplay, best vocal performance, best writing, and the best pacing I've heard on like a Doors song, undeniably. Incredible shit. This album is pretty damn good. It is like in contention with the first Doors album, honestly. They're like neck and neck for me. They're going to be pretty close in terms of their score. I don't know if I would say I prefer this or the first one. The first one is a little more dark, a little more spacey. It feels like that album was forward thinking in terms of a lot of like 70s production and a lot of 70s aesthetics. This album feels more simultaneously of the time and timeless. It's got a lot of the very colorful, expressive 60s psychedelic aspects being mixed in with some incredibly futuristic production, very forward-thinking aspects like the reverse guitar, the incorporation of the organ and the early Moog synth and stuff like that, that makes it feel like it's an album ripped out of time. Lots of very surrealist, batshit moments across this project that just lull you into this trippy and incredibly enticing world that this album creates. Jim Morrison providing vocals that can range from charmingly sarcastic and deadpan to massively intense and passionate in ways I can't even describe on tracks like When the Music's Over, and a lot of the back half. Honestly, he really like goes into full like wild, insane, passionate, loud, aggressive mode on the back half of the album. I was so impressed by this. Its weakest moment is a 1.5-minute track that I still think was solid, and besides that, every song has been varying shades of incredible. This is, yeah, a fantastically confident follow-up to a striking debut, absolutely. They saw the concept of a sophomore slump and they said, fuck that, we're going to make the best shit ever. We're going to potentially even improve upon what we were doing on the first album. It's like such a brave and bold switch in tone, such a brave and bold change up in their sound, going from the first album to the second, and it paid off. Absolutely, it paid off. To see them go more trippy, to see them go more surrealist, it's like the best progression I could imagine. Chivo did indeed send peak. I'm going to run the numbers, and I'm going to tell you what my overall score for this album is. Yep, the calculated score is a 92.3. I would probably up that by 2 points to a 94, considering just how great the flow of this album is, just how strong of a beginning and end it has, and just how invested I was. I feel like that adds probably 2 points onto that to bring itself up to a 94, which makes it on par with the debut for me. Look at the Rolling Stone review. Strange Days didn't have the power of the Doors. It instead sounded like Twillet ominous carnival music. Twillet. That is one of the words of all time. Twilight? Oh, Twilight. That makes more sense. My 1967 ranking looking crisp. What are these? All of the albums I've rated from 1967? Right. What's the worst to best on this shit? Last Place Piper, then Sgt. Pepper's, then Magical Mystery Tour, then the Velvet Underground and Nico, then The Doors, Strange Days Tide, and then Axis Bold as Love in first place.